Hello everybody, welcome back to the Nocturnal Gaming Network. My name is Xeriua, and today we are playing Spaceflight Simulator. And after quite a few episodes, we are actually returning to our space station build today. So let's jump right into it, because it's been far too long. I know everybody's been waiting for this station building thing. I mean, I love station building. Not really. I mean, it's necessary, and I mean, it is good to have a station and everything, but it's probably not the most exciting content out there. So we're going to try to make this as painless as possible. I think I want that down one further. And basically, we're going to do a combined launch on this one. We're going to be launching a what am I looking for here? A node of some sort, so that we can appropriately, just join right into the station. So there's the node, and then we are going to be launching. I'm going to say that this is like the recreation and like the food and entertainment section of the spacecraft, right? We've got this great big module here, and it's going to start something like this, and we're going to use that big transition, and then do I want one of these? I think I want one of these. Yeah, no, let's not do that. Let's instead go for some giant parts. And we'll do something, well, something like this? Yeah, I'm thinking something like this, actually. And we can just taper it back down on the other side. Big pieces. I want this one. There we go. So now we've got our space station tennis court and the Olympic-sized swimming pool, so we can keep our astronauts happy. It's also got a weight room, so they can, stay in shape. And then the best food. We've got 4 different restaurants. There's a little Mexican place on the north side, right? I'm putting too much thought into this. I need to stop. Okay, so where this is a great big and heavy module, we are basically going to have to change up how we've been doing these launches, because our little transfer stage that we've been using, yeah, that's not quite capable of doing it with this big one. So we're going to use one of these, right? Great big, ridiculous, what am I looking for here? Separator. And we're going to put a little teeny control module underneath it, and then we can go back to our big parts here. And we can do something like this, and then put our second stage here. So we've got the Frontier engine. We're going to go back to utility, and we're going to put a ton of RCS thrusters on this thing. So like right here is probably pretty good. We can't put any on the control module, but I think 4 of them, something like this, is going to be decent, right? Now, we will probably have some issues with rotation on this one, because we have a large, I want the little block, we have a large payload, and it's not centered on the craft. So we're going to have to keep an eye on rotation when it actually comes down to launching this thing and making sure that it's properly being attached to the station. So we should probably go finish our fairing now too. We should just continue with this module, something like this, and we can basically just use this to cover up the rest of the the rocket here. Oop, that's too small. There we go. Something like this. And we need to go down one more so we can properly space our fairing. Or do we? Do we? No, we don't. I was right, and this is, in fact, the right module. Okay, good. So, we're almost 300 tons. This is a massive module, so we're also going to need to beef up our launch phase. And, I'm sure if you've watched other videos of mine, you will know that I like this great big tri-rocket here. So we're going to actually do that. We're going to go to aerodynamics and grab ourselves some of the bigger nose cones, and we're going to set them slightly down like this. That way when we separate our fairings, it doesn't smash into things, and we can hopefully get a nice easy separation. And then we're going to do a tri-rocket. Just like the smaller ones I've done, except this one is noticeably bigger here. And voila, we have our rocket. And we have a 1.18 thrust to weight ratio on this thing, but, where we've got all this fuel up top, and then we've got, a secondary stage that's bigger and heavier, we shouldn't have to worry about it too much, because these tanks and the Titan engines will basically get us most of the way into orbit. So it's not going to be a big deal. Even though we have a low thrust to weight, we should be able to do it. So, I almost forgot. I always almost forgot. We need a thumbnail, and we need one that looks good. So let's do this. Alright, and now we can turn our engines on and go all the way up to 100% throttle. Next, we need to find the space station. So let's set it as our target. It is perfectly at 250 by 250 meters. I'm actually going to accelerate time. I don't think it matters. I'm going to stick it like over here because I can. I think it'll probably lead to a little better rendezvous with the station. And we're just going to go back to our map view, and we are going to lift off. Whew, this thing's so slow when it comes to actually starting to lift. But we are going. We're going to wait until we get to 200 meters and begin rolling over. And we want to go slow. We do want to have a nice high apoapse as we're doing the roll this time. We just, don't want to undershoot and be too low in the atmosphere when we actually run out of thrust in these rockets. So, yeah. You want to make sure you're on point with your turns. Wait until about 2,000 meters, and then you should be roughly 45 degrees, so something like this. And then we're just going to keep going up, and I'm actually not going to be at 60 by the time I get to the 5,000 meters, and I'm going to be a little behind on that one, because like I said, I want us to have a nice high orbit here. So there's the 5,000 meters. I'm not at 60 right now. We're just going to slowly keep climbing. We do want to be getting our speed up, so we do want to turn over and make sure that we are using our big bad Titan engines to be getting some speed, but we don't want to do it too low in the atmosphere. So once we get our apoapse near the barrier, near the carbon line, we probably want to be throttling down a little bit just so we can get some extra thrust out of these Titan engines, so we can sort of, make it into space like 100% here, because we don't, like I said, we don't want to separate too low. We want to make sure that we are high enough up that the Frontier engine is able to appropriately take care of our thrust needs. So let's go back to our map. Where'd it go? Here it is, out of fuel. So we need to actually pop the fairing first because there's no other stage, and then we can just separate and hit that. Now our engine's back on. Now we can circularize. So I'm just going to turn radial in right now, and we're going to wait, and our apoapse is going to come towards us, but we're gaining speed, so this is okay right now, but when we get closer to the apoapse, we're going to have to turn radial out again. Now, the other thing I want to do is I want to set up a fuel transfer. And we should probably start turning radial out. So right about here, there it is. We're still gaining on the apoapse, but it's slowing down. We should be fine, though. Maybe a little more radial out. Something like this right here. We may pass our apoapse, but it's going to be fine. We're plenty high enough that we can lose a little bit of altitude without any issues. So we just need to wait now. Wait until we reach the appropriate speed. We have about 400 more meters per second to go here. And yeah, we are underpowered here, so it's not like it's not like this was going to be easy, right? Alright, we are gaining speed faster though now. So 300-ish more meters per second. We're at 35.8 kilometers. We should actually probably turn more radial, or less radial, and go more straight, follow the curve of the planet here. That way we're devoting more thrust towards our sideways momentum and less thrust towards just going straight up off the planet's surface. We're at 200 more meters per second, so we're actually probably pretty good, even if we just turn full-on prograde here. Which I think I'm going to do, because why not? Like, at this point, we're far enough out of the atmosphere that in 100 meters per second, we're not going to make it back into the atmosphere. So, what we can actually do is just sit here and wait, and we're going to raise our periapse, well, our apoapse, it's going to switch, but we're going to raise our apoapse straight up to be at the 250 meter mark. And we will begin rendezvous procedures. So here we go. The periapse is coming up out of the atmosphere any second now. Perfectly good. We got back down to about 32.2 meters per second. So this wasn't the most efficient takeoff ever. Actually, it probably was one of the least efficient takeoffs. Maybe not quite the least, but definitely one of them, right? And our closest approach... like I said, we were going to be close here. We're not quite perfect, so we are going to have to go around a little bit, but we're very close. See how close that is? So we'll just cut it off right around 250, so right about there. That's perfect. We're going to preemptively rotate. It almost took us a quarter of the way around the planet to actually get into orbit on this one. So, yeah, not the nicest launch, not by any means. We've also used about half of the fuel in that gigantic tank there that we're going to be using as a rec center. Alright, so right about here we'll stop and finish our rotation because I was slightly off with my angle. I thought I'd be closer than this, but whatever. That's why we preemptively rotate instead of rotating at the last minute, right? That way we can be ahead of the curve instead of behind it. Next, we will go 100% throttles, probably okay. Go right to our apoapse, be slightly radial in, like just literally a teeny tiny bit, all we need, and then we can burn. And our closest approach is going to move around. Let's see where it ends up. Right. Sort of don't like how it's doing that. It's because we're so far ahead of the module. There it is. So we're going to go around like twice, and we should gain on it. 1, 2. Let's go around like 4 more times. 2, 3. One more. This will be good. This will be good. Do I want to go? Do I want to do one more? Let's do one more. Probably shouldn't. Oh no. Oh no. I've done it now. Now we're going to be ahead of it again. Oh, why would I do that? So we're going to use our RCS thrusters, and we're going to raise our Apple apps to about 251. There we go. And then what we can do is use our main thruster, rotate ourselves inward here, use our main thruster to raise our periaps. We're going to raise the periaps up to 250. So something like this. I want to be pretty close. That way I've only got 1 kilometer here. And we can go around a few more times and just let it catch up to us. Here I thought I was being smart at the beginning of the video, you know, doing something to make the wait time shorter as I went around and around and around, but it didn't quite work in my favor, and now I'm just doing the easy way. Yeah! That's okay. We need a couple more seconds here and we're good. So, here we are. We're losing a little bit, or it's gaining on us just a little bit each time. We could probably see it. Yes, there it is. Okay. Good. I feel like I'm going to go in here now, and we're going to try and actually orbit, not orbit, but burn to catch up with this thing, to actually make contact. So, where is it? It's right there. We are pointing basically right towards it, so let's burn like this. So now we should be going directly towards it. And we're going to need to keep an eye out to see how it's going down there. We actually need to go and rotate ourselves this way now, and we can burn like this, just like that, and change our orbital path. There we go. Pretty close. Okay, so we want to burn more, get it heading back towards us. Something like that, and now we can, I wonder if we can use RCS to slow ourselves down. Probably shouldn't be using RCS, we should probably be using our main thrusters, because RCS isn't as efficient as the main thrusters, but, you know. I'd say YOLO, but, you know, YOLO isn't really my style. You know. We're gonna actually turn after all and use our main thruster. Just so we can cancel momentum. There we are. Most of the momentum's gone. Now we can use our RCS, we can turn ourselves to the correct orientation. And we'll use our downward RCS thrusters to actually get us heading down, lower, relative to the station. We also need to use the left RCS thrusters too. There we are, because this thing's creeping up on us. Something like that. Oh, now it's going away. So I'm just at the cusp of where I need to be for my side to side here, which is great. So, here we are, ready to go. We can go through and begin to cancel out our vertical momentum relative to the station, of course. Stop bumping. Alright. Here we are. We want to rotate ourselves basically into the correct direction here. We only have a little tiny bit more to go. There we go. Just like this. Right? That looks like it's about the right rotation. Bam! And there it is. We have connected up with the station. 37% fuel remaining. Now, I don't actually know how much fuel we need to separate this thing and make it back to the planet with. So we're going to have to leave a little bit extra fuel in this to do it. I'm going to guess like, I'm going to be safe and I'm going to go with like 8% fuel. And we can actually accelerate time, by the way, to accelerate fuel transfer. I never knew that until very recently when I left something transferring and, you know, all the fuel was gone. All right, so there's 7%, so we'll just put a tiny bit more back in. I'm going to go with 9%. That's a nice safe number. And we're going to separate. There it is. All right, we can rotate ourselves this way. And we'll just go down like this, so we clear the station. And as soon as we clear the station, we're just going to burn. So we're clear. Let's go to map view, and let's see where we are. Bam! So 8 was plenty. How much fuel do we have left? 6. So we only needed 2% fuel to actually go through and create an intercept with the planet, but that's okay. That's perfectly fine. We're not gonna complain, I guess. And you know, from here, I guess we're gonna end the video. And the next time when we return, we're going to go back to the station, and we're gonna start to work on assembling the rest of the area. I'm thinking we're going to have like a square frame like around this, and I'm saying that we're going to have some sort of like, crew capsules, right? Maybe not crew capsules specifically, but we're going to have like, let's call them bunkhouses, right? People have a little teeny area where they can sleep and keep their belongings, and maybe a little desk. Yeah, they'll have a desk on the station. Oh, and a computer, because we can't cut them off from the internet access. Ooh. Would it still be internet? Is it still internet for the astronauts in space? Or is it different? Is it like the space net at that point? I don't even know the answer to this. I feel like I need to look this up and find out. Yeah, so that'll be it for the episode. Thank you all so much for watching. My name's Xeriua, and this is the Nocturnal Gaming Network bringing you Spaceflight Simulator. Have yourselves a wonderful night, everybody.